So I lived in New York for a while, and I decided to do a backpack trip across Europe. And I stayed a little bit in England and a little bit in Ireland, and I finally made my way to Italy, and I really enjoyed myself there. I liked it so much that I decided to stay, and I became a nanny kind of a person, and I went to school to learn Italian, and every day our class would take a coffee break, get cappuccino and brioche, and we would go to the same little restaurant, and we met the owner, and he was really nice, and he'd help us out with our homework. And one day I was sitting there with my girlfriends, and this really cute guy walked in, and I said to my friends, "Uh-oh, that guy's mine." And so every day I would pass by the restaurant, and I'd look in the window to make sure that he was there, and I would order a pot of tea, because that would take longer to drink a pot of tea than a little cappuccino. And I would stay all afternoon, and I would watch him work. And there was a wall of mirrors on the one side of the restaurant and that had wine bottles and candy on it. And I would take my newspaper, and I would watch him work in the mirror so that he couldn't see me peeking at him. And one day I saw him staring at something, and I looked. He was watching me watch him in the mirror. And I was so embarrassed, and that was the day I think you asked me out.
I think it was, yeah. Just like she was looking at me in the mirror, I was looking at her from a different mirror. And the one day I just asked her out, and unfortunately that day, she was at the counter with another 2 girls, I believe, or 3. Or 2?
3.
3?
There were 3.
So I asked her out, but in Italian, when you say you, it can be you, it can be you and as many people also.
Well, we thought that we were all going to be going out on this date, and we thought we were going dancing, so we all had on high heel shoes, and we were dressed in all the, the disco clothes, and he comes up in the smallest car ever, and he had this look on his face like,
what happened here? And I said, well, you invite us out. Like, oh, okay. And I said, well, I told her, I kind of invited just you. And she said, oh, well, that's kind of late now.
And we all just piled in, and we said, where are we going? And he said, well, we're going to Montecatini, which is this very romantic night spot. And it's not like a fun place to go, and we're all kind of disappointed, and we drive up there, and of course he'd stop the car 2 or 3 times at different phone booths to try to call friends to kind of meet us there, so he didn't have to be stuck with all these girls. Of course, I didn't know this because I didn't speak enough Italian to understand what he was doing. We thought he was a little odd. We get up to the night spot. It's very pretty. There's no dancing. We're all wearing heels, and the streets are all like cobblestone, and our heels are getting stuck in between the cobbles, and we're all kind of, I don't know, kind of grumbling. And we get to this romantic restaurant where you can see all of Florence, and it's very pretty. And he ended up buying us all drinks and dinner, and we had a great night.
All the girls, they didn't really speak Italian because they were all from all over Europe and the United States, and they were going to school. And it was quite an interesting night, trying to make, everybody to understand each other. But it went pretty well. We had a good time. And the only thing was a way to end up, by myself and Helene all together without the other 3 girls.
And we're coming home in the car, and I say to the girls, okay, girls, you are all leaving first. I'm going to be the last one out of the car. So he drops everybody else off, and it's just the 2 of us finally, and he's got this little stick shift, because the car's like, it's European, and it's got a little stick shift, and I'd put my knee real close to the stick shift, and he'd have to bump my knee, and very devious of me.
There was a lot of shift in that car. It was a small car.
But then, should I tell about what you said?
Yeah, that's nothing wrong with that.
Well, he said to me, now I didn't speak very much Italian, and so what he said to me was, andiamo a letto, which means we go to bed. But in Italian, that means, do you want to go home? Do you want to go home and go to bed, or did you want to go out and like have another nightcap or something? And I thought he meant, do you want to go to bed? And I sat in my chair and I didn't know what to do, and I wanted to go out on another date with him, and so I pretended I didn't understand him, and I kept just saying, what? What? And then we had a little dictionary, didn't we? Italian-English dictionary.
I don't remember that part, but...
We did a lot of that, though.
Yeah.
We'd spend a lot of our dates going through the dictionary, and we could never argue with each other because he would argue in Italian and I would argue in English, and nobody knew what the other person was saying.
It's a safe way to go.
So that was a safe way. So we could never argue.
Yeah, but what I meant was you want to go, maybe talk a little more or go for a walk.
I know. Well, now I know.
Now you know. That was funny, though.
I guess so. I was very nervous.
And then from then on, we start dating, basically. Just us. No more girls. Just me and her. Which it was a little more fun, I think.
We did a lot of, we used to go to a little cafe called Cafe Notte? Was it Cafe
I believe
Notte?
so.
And they had games there at like Scrabble and Monopoly and things like that. And we would sit for hours and we would play Scrabble, and he would play in Italian and I would play in English. And that was kind of how a lot of hand signals in the beginning.
Learning each other. And
I learned Italian pretty quick because I talk a lot.
Yeah.
And I have to make myself known to you. So, so I learned pretty quick. You didn't learn English until we got to the States.
That's right. I tried. You sent me to school. Now that I remember.
Well, you went
school.
to UT?
No, in Florence. You remember?
You did.
Yeah, I took a course of English
I don't think it lasted very long.
for a month. I didn't learn.
For a month?
I didn't learn anything, but
okay.
it made her happy.
Yeah. I actually got homesick. I didn't know that homesick actually means being like, I was sick. I needed to get back to America, and so I went home, and I think I started crying as soon as I got on the airplane. And I missed him so much, and when my mom picked me up at Detroit Airport, I said, Mom, can we please invite him to come to America? And she said, sure. She couldn't wait to meet him, and we dragged you over here then.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much the end of it. I knew.
That was kind of scary for me, though.
I know.
That was the first time I came over here. I remember I got to New York. It was summertime, and I didn't speak any English. And
I can't believe I let you do that.
My plane was delayed like 4 hours, I think, and
you didn't have any money either, did you?
I don't think I had any American dollars that time. And I kept asking the same question with my 3 words of English to the lady at the desk, and she was getting mad at me in New York City. So finally I get to Detroit at like 11:30 at night, midnight. I was the last one on the plane, I think.
Oh, gosh.
But that was kind of scary. You remember
that's right.
that?
You were the last one coming off the plane. I thought you had changed your mind, that you weren't coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh my. And then when I took you home from Detroit, I got lost. Who gets lost from the Detroit airport? That's crazy. I was so nervous having you here. I couldn't read the signs.
Yeah, we got home though.
We did get home.
Yeah.
Finally. Yeah.
And then it was kind of scary in the morning,
Meeting my parents.
Meeting your parents. I remember I woke up like at 5 in the morning, and I just stayed in bed until 10. I just couldn't get up. I was like, all these noises downstairs. It was kind of strange. But I liked it over here, so every summer for 3 years I came over here, and then I think 1 year you were more homesick than usual. So we decided to move over here.
I don't think there was ever a moment that we, like, I love you moment. It's just, we were just
meant to be.
Yeah. Like in fact, sometimes that confuses me because some people say, oh, we just always kind of knew that this was going really well, and I just always knew I would be with you. I never assumed I would be with anybody else.
I already did ask you once to marry me, but you thought I was joking. Yeah.
I was joking. I thought you were joking.
I was serious. I'm always serious. Well, no, not really. But when you just know. You can't just say that's the moment. You can't really imagine life without Helane, and my two children, and the work we have done over the last 20 years. I can never picture anything different, I guess. And I'm happy. I hope you're happy too.
I'm happy.
Good.
I'm happy. You're so much fun. You keep things lively. He keeps things going. I don't know. Life would be pretty boring without him.